He told everyone I was dishonorably discharged, and they believed him. The words echoed in my mind as I sat outside the courtroom, adjusting my Navy uniform. Commander Rachel Monroe, 35, decorated officer, lifelong service, suddenly reduced to whispers, rumors, and lies. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. My own husband, Daniel Monroe, had told anyone who would listen that my career ended in disgrace. Colleagues, friends, family, even people I barely knew, had been duped by his story. And now, here I was, walking into his military trial, ready to testify. Everything I had worked for was on the line, not just my reputation, but the truth itself. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years of service, the medals pinned to my chest, the countless hours of deployments, training, and sacrifices. They were all facts he had tried to erase with a single lie. The courtroom was tense. Daniel sat smugly at the defendant's table, confident that his lies would shield him. Lawyers shuffled papers, the judge reviewed documents, and the gallery whispered as my name was called. I remembered how it had felt when the rumors first spread, friends pulling away, colleagues questioning me in private, the doubt gnawing at my confidence. But I didn't have time for fear. I had trained my entire life to face high-pressure situations, to speak truth under scrutiny, to defend myself when everyone else doubted me. And now, the stakes were higher than ever. The life I had built, the honor I had earned, and the truth that could free not just myself, but expose Daniel for what he truly was. Every step toward the witness stand brought a mix of adrenaline, anger, and resolve. I could feel eyes on me, the jury, the judge, even Daniel himself. He thought he had won. He thought he had destroyed me. He had no idea what I was about to reveal. I adjusted my uniform one last time, inhaled slowly, and walked toward the stand. Every whisper in the room seemed to fade. The judge's gaze locked on me, the jury leaned forward, and Daniel's smirk faltered for the first time. Would I be able to reclaim my honor in front of everyone who had doubted me? And how would Daniel react when I told the truth? The courtroom was thick with tension as I approached the stand. Every step echoed in the hushed room, every eye on me. I could see Daniel across the aisle, smirking at first, thinking he'd won before the trial even began. But I had trained for scrutiny, for pressure, for moments just like this. I wasn't afraid. Not anymore. He told everyone I was dishonorably discharged, I thought to myself. Every officer, every colleague, even my friends believed him. But they didn't know the truth, because the truth isn't a rumor, it's documented. Flashbacks of my service ran through my mind, deployments in hostile regions, nights spent on naval vessels, long hours training new recruits, awards earned for leadership and courage. Every medal pinned to my uniform, every commendation received, was evidence that contradicted Daniel's lies. He had tried to erase 15 years of dedication with one cruel, manipulative statement. My mentor, Admiral Collins, 55, had stood by me, providing testimony and documents verifying my record. My family had been shaken, unsure who to believe, but they knew the truth deep down. And now, I had a courtroom filled with strangers, peers, and military officials about to hear it. The tension was almost suffocating, the weight of anticipation pressing down on me with every heartbeat. Daniel shifted in his seat, his smirk fading slightly as he noticed the calm confidence in my stride. Whispers ran through the audience. Some officers exchanged incredulous glances. The jury leaned in. I felt the collective judgment of the room, all waiting to see if the rumors were true. But I had prepared for this my entire life, and nothing would shake me now. I stepped up to the witness stand, straightened my uniform, and looked directly at Daniel. For the first time, I saw a flicker of doubt cross his face. I adjusted my notes and prepared to speak. Every breath I took was measured, deliberate, filled with the authority of someone who had earned the right to stand here and reclaim her honor. Could I dismantle every lie he had spread? Would the courtroom see the truth before it was too late? And how far would Daniel go to protect his lies once I started speaking? I cleared my throat and began to speak. The courtroom went silent. Every whisper, every movement stopped as if the room itself was holding its breath. "I am Commander Rachel Monroe, 35, United States Navy," I said firmly. "I have served honorably for 15 years, and every claim that I was dishonorably discharged is false." Daniel's eyes narrowed, a flicker of panic now visible beneath his confident facade. He had expected doubt, hesitation, maybe even fear, but not this. Not me standing here, calm, collected, prepared, and backed by the truth. I began detailing my record: deployments, awards, commendations, leadership roles. I named dates, locations, operations, and missions. I described the hardships, the challenges, and the moments that tested every ounce of my resolve. I could see some jurors nodding, some colleagues whispering to each other, realizing the weight of the evidence in front of them. Then I presented the documents that would break Daniel's lies. Official Navy records, signed commendations, and letters from Admiral Collins, my mentor, all confirming my honorable service. Daniel's smirk faded completely as murmurs ran through the courtroom. Lawyers leaned forward, realizing this wasn't just testimony, it was proof. Every word I spoke added pressure on Daniel. Each fact, each irrefutable piece of evidence, stripped away the narrative he had so carefully constructed. The courtroom tension escalated. Daniel shifted in his seat, a visible tremor in his hand as he realized his strategy was unraveling. I took a deep breath and delivered the line that would leave no doubt. "Everything he said about my career, my honor, and my service is a lie." The room gasped. Colleagues exchanged stunned looks. Friends who had doubted my reputation now whispered apologies. Daniel's jaw tightened, and he avoided my gaze. He had thought he controlled the narrative, but now the truth was undeniable, and the power had shifted completely. The judge leaned forward, eyes fixed on Daniel, the silence in the courtroom deafening. Daniel's lawyers whispered hurriedly, trying to salvage their case, but I knew the momentum had shifted irrevocably. I could feel the weight of every eye in the room on me, waiting for the next move, waiting for the judgment that could finally expose the truth. The judge's gaze bore into Daniel as I continued my testimony. The air in the courtroom was thick with anticipation. Every eye followed my every move. Daniel, once smug and confident, now sat rigid, beads of sweat forming at his temple. He had expected this to be an embarrassment for me, but not a demolition of his lies. I recounted how his allegations had spread, the lies he had told to colleagues and family, the damage to my reputation. Every word was deliberate, controlled, unyielding. I wasn't here just to defend myself, I was here to expose him. I presented the final pieces of evidence: emails where Daniel admitted to falsifying information about my record, witness statements from fellow officers, and my complete service file confirming my honorable discharge. The courtroom murmured in disbelief. My family exchanged glances of relief and pride. My colleagues, some who had doubted me, now looked at me with newfound respect. Daniel shifted in his seat, hands clenched, realizing that nothing in the courtroom could save him now. His lies were fully exposed. The very foundation of his defense was crumbling before the judge and the jury. I spoke with calm authority, every word hitting with precision. "Your Honor, my husband's lies have been deliberate. Every claim of a dishonorable discharge is false, and the records, testimony, and documents I present confirm my honorable service." The judge leaned forward, studying Daniel with piercing eyes. Murmurs filled the room. Lawyers whispered urgently. Even Daniel's closest allies seemed shaken by the evidence and testimony presented. It was clear that he had underestimated me and overestimated his control of the narrative. I felt a quiet satisfaction, not from vengeance, but from truth prevailing. For 15 years, I had served my country with honor. Now, I was reclaiming my personal and professional dignity, and everyone in the courtroom could see it. As I finished speaking, the judge paused, fingers steepled, eyes locked on Daniel. The courtroom held its collective breath. Daniel swallowed hard, realizing the gravity of the moment. I stepped down from the stand, heart racing, knowing the final verdict was about to change everything, not just for him, but for me, and for anyone who had doubted the truth. The judge's gavel finally struck, cutting through the courtroom silence. Every eye was on Daniel as the verdict was read aloud. Captain Daniel Monroe, your claims regarding Commander Rachel Monroe's service record are false. The court finds that Commander Monroe was honorably discharged and has served with distinction. A wave of relief washed over me. Every detail, every medal, every commendation I had presented now stood validated. Daniel's lies had been fully exposed, and the truth was indisputable. My career, my honor, and my personal integrity had been restored in front of everyone who had once doubted me. I felt a mixture of exhaustion, relief, and triumph. Years of service, commitment, and personal sacrifice had been questioned and belittled. But now, standing in the courtroom, I could finally breathe. The whispers of doubt were replaced with nods of respect. Colleagues who had hesitated before now looked at me with admiration. My family hugged me, tears of relief streaming down their faces. Even the judge offered a small, approving nod. The emotional weight I had carried, anger, frustration, fear, dissolved. I was validated, not only in my professional life, but in my personal battle against deceit and betrayal. Daniel faced immediate consequences. His credibility in the military was shattered. He was reprimanded for falsifying information and faced disciplinary measures that would follow him for the rest of his career. Socially and professionally, the impact of his deception was irreversible. My colleagues and the broader military community now knew the truth, and Daniel's network of supporters began to turn away from him. For me, the aftermath was transformative. My reputation restored, my honor publicly acknowledged, and my integrity intact, I was no longer defined by someone else's lies. The courtroom testimony had not only defended my past, it secured my future. I left the courtroom with my head held high, medals gleaming, dignity restored, and a renewed sense of purpose. My journey had been one of service, betrayal, and ultimately, vindication. Standing outside, I felt the weight of judgment lift entirely. I had faced the ultimate personal and professional challenge, and emerged not just unbroken, but stronger, respected, and fully vindicated. He tried to destroy me, I thought, but the truth always prevails. Every step I took away from that courtroom was a step toward a future I could own, honorable, empowered, and completely my own.